All right, everybody, welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we are tackling something that's been on a lot of people's minds. Remote work. Landing that perfect work-from-home gig, ditching the soul-crushing commute,
Yeah,
and embracing the kind of flexibility so many of us crave right now.
absolutely. And to help us navigate this new world of work, we've got a fantastic resource, remotejobrecruiting.com.
Exactly, and you know what really struck me about them?
What's that?
They don't just throw any old remote job up there.
Yeah,
They actually focus on quality.
that's right. They really seem to get the unique needs of both remote workers and employers, creating a platform that actually benefits both sides.
And that brings us to the heart of today's deep dive. A super interesting job posting we found on their site. For a live chat agent position, and get this, it pays 25 to 35 bucks an hour, all from the comfort of your own home.
Not bad, right?
Definitely not bad. And for our listeners who want all the details, the full job description is linked in the show notes, so make sure to check it out later. But just to give you a taste, this job is like a perfect example of how work is changing right before our eyes.
It really does highlight the demand for skilled professionals who can, thrive in that digital environment.
So let's unpack this live chat agent role a little.
Okay.
What exactly does it entail? Think of it this way. You're kind of like a digital detective, solving customer problems, guiding them through the online world.
I like that. That's a great analogy. You're that friendly voice on the other side of the screen, offering support, advice, solutions. And the job description really hammers home that customer-first approach. So empathy, a genuine desire to help, that's essential here.
And let's be real for a sec, in today's digital economy, and by that I mean all the buying and selling and connecting that happens online, those skills, empathy, that customer-first mindset, those are pure gold.
Yeah, no doubt. Companies are realizing that creating a positive online experience for their customers, well, it's crucial for success. And a skilled live chat agent, they're right there on the front lines of that.
And the cool thing is, this isn't just some dead-end job.
hmm
There's actual potential to grow. You could become a team lead, a trainer, even a product specialist, and all while working remotely.
It's not just a job, it's a potential career path. And that's what I think remotejobrecruiting.com does so well. They showcase those remote opportunities that offer real growth.
So let's zoom out for a moment and talk about this whole remote work revolution.
Okay.
This job posting, it touches on some serious advantages like flexibility, no commute. And my personal favorite, the potential to, create a work-life balance that actually works for you.
Flexibility is huge for a lot of people. Imagine setting your own hours, working from anywhere with a good internet connection, structuring your day in a way that really maximizes your productivity and well-being.
Right. And no commute. Sign me up. Think of all the time and money you save, not to mention the reduced stress. It's a game changer.
It really is, especially for those of us who value our time, sanity, all that good stuff.
For sure. But, and I think it's important to acknowledge this, there are also potential downsides to working from home.
Definitely.
Like isolation can be a real thing.
Yeah, it's important to be proactive about staying connected with colleagues, maintaining a sense of community even when you're not physically in the same space.
It's funny. I actually find I'm more productive working from home.
Mm.
No office distractions. But you got to be intentional about setting boundaries, like scheduling virtual coffee breaks with colleagues, joining online communities related to your field.
Exactly. Success in remote work requires a certain mindset. You got to be self-motivated, organized,
Yeah.
and comfortable working independently.
It's kind of being an entrepreneur, in a way. You're your own boss, responsible for managing your time, meeting deadlines.
You hit the nail on the head. And just as important as those inner qualities are the practical skills. This job posting mentions being comfortable with digital tools, having strong communication skills, absolutely essential for any remote role.
So, listener, I want to put this question to you. Does this type of role, this work environment, sound like a good fit for you?
Think about it. Do you enjoy helping people solve problems? Are you tech savvy? Do you thrive on independence? Have a knack for clear communication? These are all key indicators of whether you might excel as a remote worker, particularly in a role like this live chat agent position.
And don't forget, folks, that full job description, it's waiting for you in the show notes. Even if you're not actively looking for a job right now, I encourage you to check it out just to get a sense of what kind of opportunities are out there in this remote work world.
You never know what might spark your interest or inspire you to explore a whole new path.
So we've talked about the live chat agent role, the trends in remote work. We even started thinking about what it takes to be successful working from home. But there's another layer to all of this that I find super exciting.
Oh. Tell me more.
The very nature of work. It's changing.
How so?
It's not about being tied to a specific location anymore. It's about having the freedom, the flexibility to work where you're most productive and fulfilled.
No, that's a concept I can get behind. It opens up so many possibilities. Imagine traveling the world while working, living in a more affordable area without having to sacrifice your career goals.
Right. Or maybe you just want to ditch the commute and spend more time with your family. Or finally have time to pursue that passion project you've been putting off.
Whatever your motivation. This rise of remote work, it's empowering people to create work lives that truly align with their values and aspirations.
And that, my friends, is something worth celebrating. And this job posting on remotejobrecruiting.com, it's just one small example of the incredible opportunities that are out there.
You know what I find particularly impressive about them?
What's that?
Their focus on curating those high-quality remote positions. They understand the unique needs of remote workers and employers, making it easier for both to connect and thrive.
They really simplify the process of finding your dream remote job.
And for employers, they offer a platform to reach a global pool of talent, individuals who are ready to embrace the remote work lifestyle. It's a win-win.
So what does this all mean for you, our listener?
It means the traditional boundaries of work. They're dissolving, you've got more choices than ever before, and you have the power to design a work life that is meaningful and fulfilling. But it all starts with taking that first step.
So what's that first step?
Well, check out that full job description on remotejobrecruiting.com. Explore their website and see what speaks to you. Even if you're not actively on the hunt for a new gig, browsing their site, it can spark ideas. Open your mind to new possibility.
You might be surprised what you discover.
Who knows, you might just find your next dream job, all from the comfort of your couch.
Now, before we jump into what it takes to truly excel in a remote role, we need to take a quick break. But don't worry, we'll be right back to continue our deep dive into the world of remote work.
Welcome back to the deep dive. Before the break, we were talking about, the allure of remote work, flexibility, no commute.
Yeah, all the good stuff.
But let's be real for a minute. It takes more than just comfy clothes and a good internet connection to really thrive in a remote role.
For sure. You need a specific set of skills, a certain mindset. And I think sometimes people get so caught up in those perks that they forget about these crucial ingredients for success.
Right. So let's break it down. Let's start with the practical skills. Remember that live chat agent role we discussed earlier?
Yeah.
Clear communication, especially in writing, it's absolutely paramount. You're interacting with customers solely through text, so your words, they have to be concise, professional, empathetic.
It's almost like being a novelist, in a way. Instead of crafting a compelling story, you're crafting efficient solutions, building trust through the written word.
I love that analogy. That's perfect. And it's not just about writing well. It's about being able to type quickly and accurately. You're juggling multiple conversations, often dealing with sensitive customer info.
Right. You can't be fumbling around typos.
Exactly. Attention to detail, a decent typing speed. Those are essential.
And we can't forget about tech savviness. That job posting mentioned being comfortable with digital tools. And let's face it, that's a non-negotiable for pretty much any remote role these days.
Couldn't agree more. Whether it's video conferencing, project management software, or cloud-based collaboration platforms, remote workers need to be adaptable and willing to learn new tech. The digital world is constantly evolving. Got to keep up, right?
Absolutely. So we've covered the practical skills. What about that, like inner game? What kind of mindset does a successful remote worker need?
This is where it gets really interesting. Self-discipline, that's key. When you're working remotely, you're basically your own manager, setting your own schedule, your own deadlines. It's way too easy to get distracted at home.
Oh, tell me about it.
The laundry, the dishes, that Netflix show you've been meaning to binge.
Oh yeah, those temptations are real.
You need that internal drive to stay focused, to stay productive. It's like being an entrepreneur, kind of like we mentioned before. Self-motivated, organized, got to be able to manage your time well.
And equally important, I think, is the ability to work independently. Sure, you might have some virtual meetings here and there, but for the most part, you're on your own.
That's a good point. Some people absolutely thrive in that kind of environment. They love that freedom, that autonomy to structure their day, work at their own pace. But for others, it can be a struggle. They might feel isolated, crave more interaction.
Yeah, it really depends on your personality, right? That's why self-awareness is so important here. Got to be honest with yourself about what kind of work environment you really need. If you're someone who needs constant feedback, thrives on those collaborative brainstorming sessions, then a fully remote role might not be the best fit.
True. But on the other hand, if you're comfortable working solo, Enjoy setting your own rhythm, good at self-management. Remote work can be incredibly liberating.
It's all about finding that balance
Hmm.
between your personality, your work style, your ideal work environment.
Absolutely. Speaking of balance, there's one more critical ingredient for remote work success that I want to highlight.
Okay, what's that?
Communication.
Oh, yeah, we touched on that earlier.
Right, but I'm talking about communication on a broader level. In
Yeah.
a remote setting, it's so easy for things to get lost in translation.
Because you're missing those casual water cooler conversations, those quick pop-ins to someone's office to clarify something.
Exactly. You have to be proactive, intentional about communicating, both with your colleagues and your supervisors.
Clear is kind, clear is caring, as they say.
And don't be shy about asking for clarification. If something's not quite making sense,
Over-communicate. If anything,
I like that. It's better to be safe than sorry. Remember, you're part of a team, even if you're not physically together. And building those relationships with your colleagues, it's so essential.
for feeling connected, supported, part of something bigger than yourself,
Exactly.
that sense of connection, it can make all the difference, especially when you're working remotely. It's easy to feel isolated if you're not careful. So schedule those virtual coffee breaks, participate in online team building stuff, reach out to colleagues just to say hi.
Those little things can make a big impact.
So we've talked skills, we've talked mindset, but I'm curious, from your perspective, what are some of the bigger implications of this whole shift toward remote work? It feels like more than just a change in location. It's like a whole new way of thinking about work itself.
You're spot on. It's a paradigm shift.
Hmm.
And it has the potential to reshape not just individual lives, but companies, society as a whole.
Whoa, that's a big statement. What do you mean by, like, reshaping society?
Well, for centuries, work has been tied to a specific place, the office, the factory, the field. But now, thanks to technology, those boundaries are dissolving. Work is becoming more fluid, more flexible, more integrated into our lives.
Right, it's not this separate thing anymore.
Exactly. And that has ripple effects on everything from urban planning to family dynamics to our very sense of identity.
So it's not just about where we work, but how we work and how work fits into the bigger picture of our lives.
You got it. And this shift has the potential to create a more equitable, sustainable, fulfilling way of working 80 living. But of course, there are challenges too.
Yeah, there are always two sides to the coin. What are some of those potential downsides to this remote work revolution?
One of the biggest concerns is inequality. What happens to those who can't work from home?
People in service industries, manufacturing jobs,
Mhm.
or those who just don't have reliable internet access or a quiet place to work.
Exactly. We need to make sure the benefits of remote work are accessible to everyone.
Right, it can't just be for the privileged few.
And then there's the impact on cities, local economies. If everyone's working from home, what happens to those downtown office buildings, those lunchtime cafes, those dry cleaners?
It's a valid concern.
We could see a decline in certain sectors, but on the flip side, it could lead to revitalization of suburban and rural areas. People might choose to live in more affordable or desirable locations.
It's like a giant game of Tetris, all the pieces shifting and rearranging.
Love that analogy. So true. And it really highlights the complexity of this whole transition. There are no easy answers, but it's a conversation we need to be having.
Absolutely. So, big picture question. Is this remote work revolution a good thing or a bad thing?
I'm optimistic, cautiously optimistic. I think this shift has the potential to create a more flexible, equitable, and fulfilling way of working. But it's up to us to make sure it benefits everyone, that we address those challenges head on.
Mindful of both the opportunities and the potential pitfalls.
Exactly. And that brings us back to the individual level. If you're thinking about making the jump to remote work, or you're already working remotely and want to level up, it's crucial to be aware of these bigger trends, these potential challenges.
So it's not just about finding a remote job. It's about understanding the context, making informed choices, about how you want to work and live in this new world of work.
Precisely. And remember, resources like remotejobrecruiting.com, they can help you navigate this evolving landscape. They're always curating new opportunities, providing valuable info, connecting remote workers with companies that embrace this new way of working.
So whether you're a seasoned remote work pro or you're just starting to explore the possibilities, check out remotejobrecruiting.com, see what they have to offer. And of course, don't forget to peek at that live chat agent job description. We linked it in the show notes.
It's a prime example of the kind of opportunities out there for those ready to embrace the flexibility and freedom of remote work.
Now, before we wrap up our deep dive into this whole remote work world, we want to take a moment to look ahead. The future of remote work. What trends are emerging? What challenges still need tackling? What does the future hold for this rapidly changing landscape? Stay tuned for our final thoughts on this exciting topic. And we're back for the final part of our deep dive into the world of remote work. We've explored the opportunities, the challenges, the skills you need, even those broader societal shifts.
And now we're putting on our futurist hats, gazing into that crystal ball. What's next for remote work? What does the future hold?
When I think about the future of work, I picture a world where it's no longer tied to a specific place. People can live and work wherever they feel most inspired and productive.
I love that vision. And honestly, I think it's getting closer every day. Technology is evolving so quickly, it's mind-blowing, making it easier to connect, collaborate, create value from anywhere.
But it's not just about tech, right?
Right.
It's also about a shift in mindset, both for individuals and companies.
Absolutely. We're seeing this growing recognition that work doesn't have to be confined to that traditional office space. Companies are realizing they can attract and keep great talent by offering remote options, and people are demanding more flexibility and autonomy in their work lives.
It's like this perfect storm. Tech advancements, changing attitudes, evolving work patterns. So what specific trends are you seeing pop up in this remote work landscape?
One that's really exciting is the rise of these specialized remote work platforms. Like we've talked about remotejobrecruiting.com, right?
Yeah, they're a great example.
They're laser focused on meeting the needs of remote workers and employers.
Curating high-quality jobs, making it easier to find that perfect match. And I love their emphasis on community building.
It's fantastic, and we're seeing more and more companies like them emerge, each with their own niche, their own focus. Some cater to specific industries, others to particular skills or work styles. It's a whole ecosystem, vibrant and diverse.
That's awesome. So many options for people who want to work remotely. But what about the flip side? What challenges still need to be addressed to make sure remote work is truly sustainable, equitable for everyone?
One of the biggest ones is that digital divide. We have to ensure everyone has access to reliable internet, the right technology, to actually participate in this remote work economy.
Otherwise, it's just going to widen the gap, leaving behind those who lack the resources or infrastructure.
Exactly. Another challenge is making sure remote workers have the same rights and protections as in-office workers. We need to update labor laws, policies, to reflect the reality of this modern workplace.
Right, fair compensation, paid time off, healthcare. Those should be standard for everyone, regardless of where they work.
Absolutely. And let's not forget about company culture. How do you foster that in a remote setting? It takes effort to build trust, communication, a sense of belonging when everyone's physically separated.
I imagine that requires a lot of creativity on the part of managers and leaders.
It definitely does. Can't just throw people into a virtual environment and hope for the best. Companies need to invest in the right tools, training, strategies to support remote collaboration and communication.
So it sounds like the future of remote work. It's full of promise, but there are also potential pitfalls. But overall, I'm optimistic.
Me too.
I think this shift can create a more flexible, equitable, and fulfilling way of working.
I agree. And it's up to all of us to shape that future, whether you're a worker, a company leader, a policymaker. We all have a role to play in making sure remote work benefits everyone.
So what's our final takeaway for our listeners? For those who are intrigued by this whole remote work thing.
First and foremost, do your research. Explore those resources on remotejobrecruiting.com, other platforms too. See what kinds of jobs are out there, what skills are in demand.
And remember, it's not just about finding any remote job. It's about finding the right fit for you.
Exactly. Your personality, your work style, your lifestyle. Be honest with yourself about what you need to be happy, productive, and don't be afraid to experiment. Try different tools, platforms, strategies. Find what works best for you.
This is a truly exciting time. The future of work is being written as we speak. And we all have the opportunity to be a part of it.
Who knows, your dream job might be just a click away, waiting for you to embrace the freedom and flexibility of remote work.
And that brings us to the end of our deep dive into the world of remote work. We hope you found it insightful, inspiring. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to check out the show notes. We've got links to all those resources we mentioned, including that awesome live chat agent job posting on remotejobrecruiting.com.
Until next time, keep diving deep, keep exploring, and keep shaping the future of work.